Thank you for tuning in. With the poverty level rising well above 15% after this census that has been taken, unemployment soaring, and people are in need of jobs, the debate in our federal government is beginning to come to a point where there is need for new ideas and new individuals that are willing to deliver instead of point fingers. We're going to discuss some of these issues with candidates that are running in neighboring districts. Today we're going to be talking to Mr. Roland Straten, who is the congressional candidate for the Republican Party running in the 8th Congressional District in New Jersey. Thank you, Mr. Straten.
Thank you very much, Herb.
It really is a pleasure to have an opportunity to sit down and talk with you on a professional level. You and I have been able to bond on a number of different issues, and in particular the one that has been a passion to me has been education reform. Now, you're a small businessman, a family-owned business in the local area. Patterson is pretty much where you started, and you live in Montclair. The type of business that your family has been involved with has been very service-oriented. How will it help you in your attitude of being able to be a representative to the community from a perspective of dealing with it as a federal representative? You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that we have different levels of government, okay? We have the federal, we have the state, we have the county, and we have the city. You want to look at it from the top level. How does your experience as a businessman make you feel that it's going to be good for you to fit into this position?
Well, Herb, you're right on when we're looking at that. We do have the 4 levels of government. We have the federal, the state, the county, and the local government. And all 4 levels do have to work together. Specifically, I ran Associated Fire Protection in Patterson, New Jersey for 40 years. I was a small businessman. I grew it from 3 employees to 60 employees. And 4 years ago, I turned this relatively successful business over to my son. During those 40 years, I was always hindered by large government, high taxes, oppressive regulations. Government always gives lip service to small business, but it doesn't really help small business. It looks like small business, and small business, by the way, provides 70% of new jobs. It gives it lip service and just taxes and puts on more and more regulations. Specific to your question, why am I running and what can I do? What is my experience going to do for the people of New Jersey when I am in Washington? Number one is when you run a small business, you learn to control spending. If you do not control spending when you are in a small business, you go out of business. When you're a politician and you don't control spending, you just raise taxes. I'm going to take this mindset to Washington, and hopefully with 50 to 100 more new fiscally conservative congressmen, and we are going to change things in Washington.
And comparatively enough, we recognize that there is a need for jobs. And the focus that you're really talking about is relevant towards looking at ways in which we can cut the waste. But when it comes to services in government, a lot of the jobs are not profit-making entities. What is it that you really believe is important so that the communities that we live in won't have to be taxed in order to provide the proper services?
Well, one of the biggest things right now, we do have to provide more jobs. We've had this major stimulus package. It hasn't produced jobs. The summer of recovery was supposed to bring our unemployment rate down to 8%. It has gone up to 9.6%. Spending government money, especially deficit spending, does not increase jobs. We know that. It is very clear. What we need to do to increase jobs is we need to take the uncertainty away from business. Right now, businesses are not hiring, they're not investing. Why? Because they're scared. They do not know what this Congress is going to do. They're going back to Congress momentarily to talk about the so-called Bush tax cuts. This is not a tax cut. That happened 10 years ago. They're talking about one of the most massive tax increases, and they're talking about taxing the rich. Well, this plan right now, if Congress doesn't do anything, people earning $15,000 taxable income will have a 50% tax increase.
Wow.
That's incredible.
But they try to give you the impression as if it won't happen to people who aren't making a lot of money. Why will it happen to people who aren't making a lot of money?
That is one of their standard arguments. We're going to tax the rich. Well, the rich, the real rich, don't have to pay high taxes. They can hire lawyers and find loopholes. They can take their money down to South Carolina or Florida, and if the taxes go higher down there, they'll take their money offshore to Bermuda.
They can move it around.
They can move it around. They can have offshore corporations. The person that is really going to get hit by these tax increases is the middle income person and their employers, mainly small businesses. Don't forget, when a small business goes out of business, you're losing anywhere from 5 to 100 employees, and those people now are not paying taxes anymore. They go back on unemployment or are seeking jobs.
What is your idea in terms of looking at it? And we're really talking about healthy people and people who are able to manifest some kind of income, and what kind of an impact it would be if we continue to just tax, and not come up with some concrete ideas. And I think we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I really want to deal with the idea of sick care, because it's really not health care. It seems like many of the proposals that are coming out dealing with health care are focusing on people who get sick. Is that really the approach that's going to be effective in terms of the type of proposals that have already been made in terms of health reform?
Well, first of all, I think we have to state for the record that this health care bill that they just passed is going to be a disaster. We've already heard in our company that there's going to be a 30%, or there could easily be a 30% or more increase in health care premiums.
Okay.
This is going to prevent companies, again, from hiring more people. They just can't afford it. They may have to lay people off. This health care bill, which was given to us as being something that was going to be revenue neutral or even helping the deficit, is going to be a major increase in deficit spending. Not only that, it is so full of special deals and special commissions. It's 3,000 pages of stuff that most congressmen have not even read. That is just going to be a disaster. Rather than looking at our healthcare system, and our healthcare system, while it isn't the best in the world, needs help. And it's
so you are in favor of reform?
I am definitely
in favor
in reform. We have to do some very key things. We have to allow people to buy health insurance across state lines.
Okay.
We have to allow transportable policies. You can't lose your health insurance because you lose your job.